giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, but of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! Coming up today, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a curveball, a bit of a swerve. I want to take a look at CeeDee Lamb's game from Sunday because I think he carried the offense. And usually I will go look at the offensive line, we look at the run game, but I want to look at CeeDee Lamb's game when we look at this tape. So follow me into the film room a little bit later. Also, we get an update on one Demarcus Lawrence. Not so great. You just wonder now, is the clock ticking? But before all that, as I'm finishing up prep, getting ready to come on, I know that Jerry Jones is on the radio, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll just say this: brace yourselves. Good morning, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
How's everybody doing on this Tuesday morning? The reason why I say brace yourselves, okay? I don't listen to Jerry. I know that. I don't like to listen to him much. He just talks a lot and says a bunch of nothing. But when it does come to something like this, the coaches and whatnot, you kind of got to peel back some layers and see if you can catch something. And for the longest, I've been saying I'm getting more and more worried about this whole thing being ran back. Well, he's on the radio today. Let me make sure I get this right. We are looking at Bow. Okay, so he's on 105.3 The Fan with Sean and RJ and those boys or what have you. And they asked Jerry Jones, is Mike Zimmer's future tied to McCarthy? And Jerry said, quote, in a way, I do. I think you're beginning to see some of the best of Mike Zimmer, but maybe the best is still ahead of us. Quote, Mike McCarthy has shown that this team can handle adversity. I give them both high grades this year.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Well, I'm Cowboys Nation, you won. I give up. I have accepted that all the mics are returning. This whole thing is coming right on back. I concede I bend the knee. You know, that whole thing. I give up. I'm not going to waste my time looking at other coaches. I'm not going to waste my time thinking about things being different in the sense of schematics and this and that. No. What I'm going to do moving forward in the offseason, unless something drastically changes, we're just going to figure out how to make this thing work because they coming back, y'all. I'm convinced. And look, I said this about Zim, and I think that's why they asked Coach Jerry. They asked Jerry Jones about Zimmer is because Zimmer, in my opinion, is the only one that has earned the right to return. I know you could say, well, Sky, look, the Cowboys, they're fighting and finishing and yada, 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 hard for Mike McCarthy. Because Mike Zimmer's saving that man's job. I digress. So I give up. I quit fighting it. I'm just going to accept the fate, and that is that Mike McCarthy is returning. You'd have told me this, and y'all did tell me this, right? Like, well, Sky is coming back, but this is before the Cowboys showed any hope. This is when 3-7, and y'all like, hey, he's coming back, and I'm like, how? Unless he goes on a run. I guess you can call this a little bit of a run, but they're going to finish likely 6-11, right? Maybe 7-10. That ain't enough for me. But nonetheless, It was the things I'm hearing from Jerry. It was how they're setting this up. All those little, and then this, just kind of the cherry on top, man. I give them both high grades. McCarthy has shown that this team can handle adversity. 2025 is going to look like 2024, right? From Stephen Jones. I've accepted it. Cowboys Nation, have you accepted it, or are you still holding out hope that there will be a new direction from a coaching standpoint coming in? I've given up. I've given up. But you guys, do you guys think that there will be a new direction? You can call in on the show. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. What we'll do is we'll get through the meat and potatoes of the show, but I do want to know how you guys feel about this, because I'm done fighting it. I'm done fighting it, man. Now things could change, right? They can lose out here, and Jerry will feel differently, but I ain't fighting no more, man. Let's get into the roundup, though.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
So, one of the Cowboys' longtime leaders in that locker room and players, Demarcus Lawrence, clock's ticking on him, man. 3 games left here, and McCarthy has already ruled him out against the Bucs, saying, quote, "In the brief meeting we had earlier, I don't see Demarcus being available this week. He was not a part of that conversation." You got to think about it, right? If he's not even available this week, which means he's not even out there practicing, they didn't designate him off the 21 day or what have you. If they designate him next week off, that doesn't mean he's going to be available to play. That just means, hey, we got to get you out there, get you in practice shape, and get you going, and then maybe the season finale. So it's looking like D-Law could have played his last down in Dallas in week 5. Or possibly they may try to run him out there at the end of the season, in the final week of the season, to put something out there to get a better or a better exit from the Cowboys. Now, there also is the ability of him returning. They work some numbers. He has void years. They can do this and do that. But it really does feel like guys like him and Zach Martin have played their last down. And as much as, as good as D-Law has been, you would understand that, right? They went and drafted his replacement in regards to Marshawn Nealon. And sometimes you just have to rip the Band-Aid off when it comes to some of these vets. And unfortunately for D-Law, it being a foot, this is like the 3rd or 4th time he's had a foot injury. And I know he's played through a lot and been available for you over the last 2 seasons, but the foot thing is not new. His rookie year, 2021, and now he's dealing with this. So it's getting closer and closer to D-Law being done. Now, in his absence, and really in Micah Parsons' absence, Carl Lawson has really stepped up. Currently, he's second on the team in sacks, sack percentage, impressive percentage out of the guys that are out there. So, we had brought this up a couple weeks ago when we're looking at, hey, these veterans are playing for, right? And Carl Lawson, to me, was a guy I was like, hey, man, can Carl Lawson play his way back onto this team? Especially if Mike Zimmer and those guys return. Zim talked about how, he thought that was Lawson's best game on Sunday. He talked about how they were working on him closing and whatnot. And I know a lot of people will say, well, it's the Panthers. To a certain extent, yes, right? Like, you do have to kind of compartmentalize that team, because when it comes to that offensive line, that's a good offensive line. So when you're talking about, Micah and Osa and Lawson having good games, don't look at it as they're having a good game against a 3-5 team. Look at it as they're having a good game against an offensive line that is 5th in the league in sacks given up. Has some really good talent lined up across there. So, if he says that was his best game, granted, I know quarterback plays a role in sacks and whatnot. And Mike Zimmer says that was his best game, that was his best game. But Carl Lawson, I think, is definitely one of those guys, another free agent, by the way, who's kind of playing his way to before the season, we talked about Lawson could be the who's the guy over there in Dante Fowler. Lawson could be the Dante Fowler of this team, and it took a little bit, but he kind of is. He's the sixth man off the bench that is very productive, and Fowler stuck around for a couple seasons. I can see that happening with Lawson. What you don't want, though, is you don't want Carl Lawson to stop you from getting an Abdul Carter or somebody like that if you have the chance to get them. But outside of the draft, Dallas is probably not going to go out and sign a needle mover at the position. So you're going to be looking at the Carl Lawsons of the world. So now you got to stack Lawson up with the rest of the free agents at the bottom there. And you probably would lean more towards a guy that's been in the building, has had success, and it'll be a Dante Fowler situation all over again. And that's a good thing, by the way. Comparing to Fowler is not bad. Fowler was successful here for his role in Dallas. And I think Lawson is playing out in that same way. So next year, if you bring back a Lawson, obviously you have Micah. Maybe you add one of those young bucks in the draft. Sam Williams is returning, Marshawn Nealon. You kind of have something to start with. You obviously want to add to it, but you got something to start with. But you're going to need to bring in another veteran, I think. I don't think you can just roll out a rookie, Micah, Sam, Nealon, and that's it. I do think you're going to have to bring in a vet. And maybe it's Lawson. Maybe it's him. Oscar said D-Law better be looking for a Brandon Graham-like deal. I mean, that's possible, too. He could be the Brandon Graham of the Cowboys, where Graham just stuck around with the Eagles, just getting team-friendly deals over the last, 5 seasons. But listening to D-Law, or maybe not listening, but reading about what he said, he feels he still has a lot of juice left. And I doubt he doesn't come off to me again. I know he's been here his whole career. He just doesn't come off to me as a guy that's going to take a hometown discount because it's the Cowboy. Oh, I'm a Cowboy and things like that. I know he got the bag, so that could help, right? Like, he already got the big bag, but maybe somebody else will pay him a little more than Dallas, and with the chance to win or just a chance to get paid, and I think he'll be moving on there. And I don't think that's a bad idea, right? Like, you can't constantly bring back every, and I use the term great loosely with D-Law. Like, D-Law's longevity and production has been really good for the Cowboys, but it does feel weird to say he's an all-time, like he's a Cowboy great. You can't bring back these legacy type players at the back end of their career all the time. You gotta let them go. Let it go. I got my buck now watching Frozen. You gotta let it go, Elsa. You gotta be able to replace these guys. The good teams do it. Right? The good teams do it. And I think that's one of those things. Oh, Professor O, are you serious? I ain't gonna judge him because I ain't country. But apparently Jerry told 105 through the fan he used to eat squirrel brains. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm not from the country. I don't want to offend anybody. We got country folk in the chat. I know they asked him about Xavier Legette eating that coon. That's what he called it, the raccoon. I don't want to disrespect anybody. Is that normal, country folk? That's what I was thinking, Jeremy. He got squirrel brain. I was thinking, can somebody help me out here? Squirrel brain? Sir Lawrence? You raise your hand, you eat squirrel brain? I'm not judging you, brother. I'm not from the country. I know y'all do some things differently down there. It's better than so toxic. Ate squirrel brain. Okay, eating squirrel may be normal, right? You can eat all those but the brain. Nah, Mar, we don't eat roadkill in PA up north. We don't do that. But the brain, I don't know about the brain shit. BB said, I've had squirrel. Where'd you go? I've had squirrel. My father and his friends ate coon before, but never have I ever heard of eating squirrel brain. Right, like eating raccoon and even eating squirrel doesn't shock me. But eating squirrel brain is crazy. let me hit the phones real quick because we are on the topic of Jerry, and we got Jerry's number one fan calling in here. Troy, good morning, man. How you doing? Troy, I think.
Sorry about that. I'm good, Scott. What's going on?
There we go. What's up with you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, man. We on the subject of Jerry this morning. I'm okay with the direction of keeping everybody, man. I guess you already know how I feel about that.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
Yeah. But Scott, I'm saying though, if you look at it, just to kind of go a different direction a little bit, people are complaining about McCarthy with the run game. I think we have a selective memory on us getting behind in so many of those games and having to throw the ball. Like we just put that out of our memory, like that didn't happen. I don't
think that's true. I think that was talked about a lot. And if you are on my show every time, and maybe other shows do this, but you know me, I don't just look at things in a vacuum, right? I'll often try to break it down. And my complaints earlier in the season wasn't about attempts. I can give a damn about attempts. You know how I feel. I hate that they always bring up attempts. It's about the how to me. It's about the scheme. It's about the blocking and all that stuff. So that was more important to me than the actual attempts. I think the conversation was definitely brought up that, the Cowboys can't get the run game going, like literally the attempts, because they're behind. So I wouldn't say that's fair to say. I think that was a topic of conversation earlier in the season.
Okay, I'm just saying with the topic going on right now, like people are just slamming Zeke like he had all these opportunities to even really get himself going early in the year when we were behind in so many games. Yeah. Just as the tandem, we never really got to see the 1-2 punch. With the Cowboys, it's always one has to be better than the other. We can't have what Detroit has. We can't have. I'm sorry.
They tried the whole. So it's kind of been, without them saying, it's kind of been proven that McCarthy was force fed Ezekiel Elliott and force fed this committee approach, right? He clearly didn't want to do it. He said that basically throughout the season without saying it. They tried it. They tried to split the carries and do all this stuff, and it didn't work. So they leaned with the better back, and they're finding their footing.
Oh no, that I wholeheartedly agree that Rico is the better back. I'm just saying, people slamming Zeke. I just think it's unfair with what was going on with the line early. The new guys coming in and then always being behind, trying to catch up. It kind of didn't lend us going that way as far as the run went.
Yeah, Zeke. I mean, people got on Zeke because, let's be real, Troy. He's not remotely close to the player he's been. We thought he could have a role here, being a short yardage back, goal line guy. And then obviously the fumble, and it just didn't work out. Let's just be honest. It just didn't work out, him returning. And then obviously the politics. It's hard to not slam Zeke when politics have played a role in the run game, or at least in the lead aspect of it. So it ain't his fault. They the ones that signed his ass. So I ain't mad at Zeke. I'm mad at the front office for bringing him back, knowing that there were other better backs available, and you could have drafted a guy. I hope people aren't mad at the actual player that is Zeke. Be more mad at the front office, because he really shouldn't be here. And if he's going to be here, then honestly, how they're using him is probably how they should have been using him. Kind of just this is Rico's deal, and Zeke, you'll get your carries from time to time.
I can dig it. And one more thing, Scott, kind of looking at what Cooper Rush has been able to do with the continuity that he has, I think he's gotten more comfortable, being that he has kind of his first team, if you will, on the field, with Brock being at center, and with those changes, do you think that the continuity of the line is better suited with someone else being at center and putting BB at guard?
It's an interesting way you say that, because I thought Hoffman was better at guard, and I thought Cooper Beebe was better at center. And when those two guys were a center guard combination, I thought it looked better. So I don't know why I get the thought of, hey, let's see what this looks like, because BB is a guard, and I wouldn't mind seeing BB be that guard or what have you, but BB has grown he's gotten better and better at the center position. I thought earlier in the season, I'm like, I don't know, man. Also I had to tell myself, well, this was going to take time, right? But just those two dudes.
I mean it from the.
Go ahead.
From the sense of just the knowledge of the playbook and things that we can run. And I guess BB will get stronger with that as time goes, but it seems like Brock just has
what evidence
like a stronger.
What evidence is there
just
that
how
the playbook
is being run?
What evidence?
When BB was in, man, it looked like our offense was just struggling. We couldn't get anything off, comeback routes, all those things. I think that had a big part to play on just the line not having that command to say, hey, we're going to run these. I'm sorry,
brother. Nothing has changed. They still run comeback routes. They still run the West Coast offense. I don't know what you mean. What evidence do you have that the playbook has been shortened with BB at center compared to Brock Hoffman at center? What evidence do you have of that?
No, I couldn't say that I had evidence. It's just looking at the game. It appears to be running a lot more smoothly. And I'm just asking.
A little confused here. In what way is it running more smooth? I don't get what you mean. Like,
okay, well, there was a lot of things going on with the line, so I'm just asking, do you think going forward that it would be better suited to put the power of BB at the guard and have someone like Brock, who's also powerful, but not as powerful as BB, of course. But being that BB is so powerful,
I don't mind the thought of BB being a guard, but I'm just trying to figure out where you're getting at that BB being out has been better.
Just the way it looked. Nothing. I'm not a guy that's going to go and crunch the numbers and those type of things to tell you that, hey, he had this and that and third. I go off of my calculus on what I see, and what I'm seeing is that it's running a lot more smoothly, kind of like what I told you with Martin early on.
So that's what I was waiting for you to bring that up. Isn't it running better without Martin? not Cooper.
Well,
BB?
But that's in the run. That's in the run. That's in the run game. That's in the run game. But I'm talking about what pass to though, Scott. I think Martin was fine with
what? Martin was not good this year, brother. Listen, Cooper BB. If I'm not
going to do him like that.
Martin wasn't
I'm not going to do it. He was hurt.
Exactly. He was hurt. So he was playing hurt and he wasn't good. But in regards to the pass, if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think BB might have gave up like a sack maybe earlier, but I don't think Cooper BB has given up much of anything. From a pass blocking standpoint, you could argue he's been better as a pass blocker than a run blocker, brother. So I don't think you're. Okay. Yeah, let me take a look here. I got you 1 second here. Cooper BB hasn't given up a sack. He's given up 1 sack since week 3. 1 sack.
I agree. Protection is
no pressures for 3 straight games, and 1 pressure in the last 4 games he's been out there. So I'm really not sure what you mean by things look different. Cooper BB has been. I'm
not saying that I know how a O-line is supposed to run. With how would you say protections and those types, but I'm just saying, looking at it with Coop, I know Coop had a lot of time with Brock, so I'm just saying I know Dak didn't, but being that what we're seeing with that continuity of what they had, and just looking at the offense right now, because it looks totally different with to me with Coop and Brock. I'm just wondering, do you think that would be with Dak?
With Coop and Brock, what? Coop and with Brock at center?
I think Coop looks a whole lot more comfortable with Brock in front of him than he did with BB in front of him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're just going to be on the opposite sides. I think he looks the exact same.
But only because that's who he usually runs with. You know what I'm saying? Like when he second team reps,
my boy,
he has Brock with him all the time. I guess when they go out, it's just like.
Hold up. He quite literally has more games with Cooper BB playing center than Brock Hoffman playing center in his career.
No, not games. I'm talking about just how they run day in, day out.
Practice. What you fail to realize is even when Dak Prescott was around, the backups don't get reps at practice during the season, my boy. They don't get reps. So it's not like Brock and Hoffman are in there with the first team or Brock and Cooper Rush are in there with the first. They don't get any reps, man. They're preparing for the team. They're on the other side doing, 7-on-7s, running scout team drills and stuff, doing other people's offenses.
Say, he look real comfortable with the guys, the receivers that we really don't know, man.
What? Wow.
Kind of like second team kind of stepping up, man.
How? He has
second team just continuity, man.
My boy, I'm about to break down CeeDee Lamb's film here in a second. No receiver.
Man, don't get me started with Sedarian. Don't get me started with Sedarian.
No receiver outside of CeeDee Lamb had more than one reception except Brandon Cooks. And the same thing happened against Cincinnati. No receiver had more than one reception outside of CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. What do you mean? I'm not gonna applaud Sedarian. I'll give you okay, but yeah. No, I'm just rebutting to what you're saying. You say, man, he's looking real good with all these other receivers. What do you mean? No other guy is getting involved besides CeeDee Lamb over the last I don't know how many games, 3 games, whatever, 2 games. It's been CeeDee Lamb and the tight ends for the most part.
I mean, red zone looks
real.
Pretty good.
They got 2 turnovers.
Red zone looks pretty good.
They got 2 turnovers in the red zone the last 2 weeks. They won.
How many times did they go down there?
They played the worst scoring defense in the National Football League on Sunday. And yes, they scored touchdowns. For the first time, they scored 3 touchdowns, by the way. The streak is ended under Cooper Rush. Prior to that, they had 2 touchdowns against Cincinnati and a god-awful turnover where he forced it to CeeDee Lamb instead of going to a wide-open Jake Ferguson. So, I mean, but if you want to use the Panthers as your litmus test, by all means, you got it, my boy.
No, I don't. I'm not even really worried about the other team or who we're going against. I'm just looking at the performance of the players that we got.
I mean, that's kind of
that's all. And more so just off of what my eyes are saying, not any numbers or anything like that.
The eye test, not the film test, but the eye test. Gotcha.
Yeah, I would have to sit down and really, mull over it, and I don't have the time to be doing that like you guys do. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to help you out here. I'll go back to your original point. If they wanted to test out Cooper Beebe at guard and Brock Hoffman at center for the foreseeable future, like to see what that would look like, I'm not opposed to seeing what it would look like for sure. But I do think moving forward, Brock Hoffman, if they're not going to upgrade the position via the draft or free agency, I think, I've said this for a few weeks now, I think he has the lead to be your right guard next year if they open up any competition. And I think he's been better at guard than center.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
All right.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right.
And this is no knock to the other receivers. But that's just the case. No other receivers are really involved here. It's been CeeDee Lamb. And he's a backup quarterback, so of course you're going to go to your guy. And sometimes to a fault. There's going to be a play I'll show you here in a little bit where it's like, well, if he would have did that against Cincinnati, maybe the outcome of the game is different. And y'all know the play I'm talking about at the end. But, yeah, it's been the CeeDee Lamb and tight end show over the last, 2 months or whatever it's been. And as for the offensive line, I still don't think much has changed from a schematic standpoint. He kept bringing up Brock and Beebe. It really should be bringing up Brock and Martin. I think you are seeing, and this sucks to say, right? Because Zach Martin is a Hall of Famer, but Brock Hoffman has been so much better than Zach Martin. That's just the reality. That's the real difference in what you're seeing. And in regards to saying the offense looks better with Cooper Beebe or with Brock Hoffman at center, I mean, he literally only has a game and some change at center. And the offense was not good against the Cincinnati Bengals. And yeah, they played the worst defense in the National Football League. And it's, I want to be completely honest. Again, Rico Dowdle, CeeDee Lamb. They asked CeeDee Lamb, the reporters after the game. He said something along the lines of, is your mentality? What is your mentality of carrying this offense? Like, do you have that I got to put this offense on my back mentality? This is what Lamb said.
I always had that mentality, and obviously offensively, the guys are looking for me as a spark. So with that, I'm going to continue to do that, and I look at myself as a spark as well. I feel like I can personally score from anywhere on the field, no matter how deep. So with that being said, I want to be a threat every time I touch it.
Well, I mean, he's shown that. That's for damn sure. He has shown that. So let's go ahead and jump into the film room and take a look at a few of these plays. I think it's about 6 of them that I want to take a look at here. Let me just make sure this is working right. Indeed it is. CeeDee Lamb right now at the top of the key, using the basketball term, but at the top of the formation. Initially, you'll see the cornerback is going to play some press, but as we know, the Carolina Panthers are not a team that likes to play a whole lot of press. In fact, they play off more than any team in the National Football League. And when you look at this type of coverage at the bottom of the screen, this is usually what you're going to get. And let's also keep in mind, you'll hear me say this a few times as we go, while they play off the most, the Cowboys have the widest width in regards to their formations and alignment from the past game. No team lines up wider than the Cowboys. It's kind of a little bit archaic, but that's kind of been Mike McCarthy's staple in this old school West Coast offense. But nonetheless, at the snap, you're going to get an exit motion that's going to turn this thing into a 4-strong look with Rico Dowdle coming this way. Again, creating a 4-strong and making it look like we're going to be running a screen over here. And the Cowboys do a great job selling it. Everybody does, right? You got all the receivers out here showing that we're going to block. And you even got Rico Dowdle looking back, acting like he's getting a screen. And you got Cooper Rush looking over, acting like there's going to be a screen. Whole time, the screen is going opposite way to the weak side. And we got a convoy out in front of our guy, CeeDee Lamb. And we're just going to get an easy button pressed to your best player on offense, an easy 20 yards. There's nothing really complicated about that, but that's what we call easy buttons. And Mike gave you one right there to your best player, by the way. Play number 2, which, again, I looked over at Jesse after that first play, that first screen. I said, hey, man, get ready to see about 5 of these today. Get ready to see about 5 of these with how much this Panthers team plays off. I mean, they just constantly give you a whole bunch of space. And once again, almost the same exact play. They just flip it, right? They're just going to flip it here. They're going to put Rico on the strong side to start the play. So he's not going to have to motion out. But at the snap of the play, we're going to see Rico Dowdle once again. Let's take it back here because I want to show you at the snap. They're going to show the Panthers another screen. Now, the Panthers were a little bit more ready for this one, but we're going to show screen here. We're going to act like we're getting out the block, and we got Rico Dowdle coming out, and we're going to come right back to the other side and get a bit of a convoy and use our boy CeeDee Lamb's ability for yak and to get upfield, make guys miss, and you get another easy like 11, 12-yard gain or whatever it was. So, again, 2 easy button plays that got you about 30 plus yards on completions that traveled at the line of scrimmage. Can't be mad at that. Play number 3 is a little bit of old school football right here, Cowboys Nation. If for a lot of the old school fans of the Cowboys, this personnel set looks a little bit familiar, right? 2 tight ends right now, offset eye with the fullback. You got 88 out here on the outside. A little soft coverage once again. I saw this on film and I was like, man, this look familiar. Yeah, this looked like the old Cowboys. Michael Irvin out there in that crazy stance, offset eye with Moose, Emmett in the backfield, Jay Novacek at tight end. And the play is kind of similar too. The play is kind of similar too in the sense of a bang 8. Now, teams don't usually run that as much anymore, especially from under center because the league has changed. But a little bit of a skinny post from CeeDee Lamb as opposed to a normal slant, not a quick slant, right? He's going to do more of a get upfield a little bit and get you a skinny post And instead of Cooper Rush dropping back 5 steps, he's going to get you like a 2-3 step drop and put that thing on the money. Now, at the snap, this is not supposed to be here, right? You're not supposed to have this slant because, first of all, the cornerback is looking at the quarterback. And if you look at his positioning, leverage, he's trying to take away the inside. But CeeDee Lamb sells the outside just enough to get the cornerback square and create that inside leverage. Now we just need the throw to be on the money, and the throw is on the money. And because he is CeeDee Lamb, and they probably thought, Xavier Woods probably thought we'd get a deep route or something. If you go back at the beginning of this play here, Xavier Woods is going to cheat way over and open up this middle of the field right here. And if they put the ball on the money, which they do, CeeDee Lamb has all of this area to get upfield and get some yak. That's exactly what he does. So great route by CeeDee, great throw by Cooper Rush, and you get yak. Again, nothing complicated. Real nice, savvy, veteran route run by Lamb there. Put the ball in the money. Let's get upfield, right? This play, we got trips right, and CeeDee Lamb's going to be in the slot. I identify him right here. Again, we talk about this, and you'll hear me talk about it a lot. The Cowboys love width. They're just going to align, just split everybody out. Again, it's a little archaic, it's a little ABC type, but that's just what they like to do. That's something that McCarthy does in this West Coast system. Another thing that they like to do out of this type of formation, we've seen this a whole lot under Dak, is we're going to run this triple slant look, right? Everybody's going to run a triple slant, and we're reading what this guy's going to do, or we're reading what the safety is going to do if we're doubling back to the middle. But using tendencies, I always talk about tendency breakers. Good offensive coordinators use tendency breakers. We're still going to get what looks like the triple slant look, but CeeDee Lamb's going to sell it and run the sluggo, and kudos to the corner. He recovers pretty well, but he's cooked. Once CeeDee Lamb sells that, you see the corner bite, opens his hips up, and if we're even, I'm leaving. And you really want to see this ball out here, right? You want to see this ball up field, shoulder, or out here on the sideline. What happens is the last thing you really want is to get this ball on the inside and give a chance for the cornerback to make a play on the ball. Fortunately, the cornerback is not one of those guys. And while you don't like CeeDee having to turn around, the result of the play is great because it completes the ball, tries to get a few more yards after the reception. But you don't like to see that ball on the inside. But again, we have to factor in, we're not talking about a starting quarterback as a backup. So just get it in the area. Let your wide receiver, all pro wide receiver, make a play on this thing, right? Once again, we talked about, you're going to see me say this a lot with, just they love to be wide here. And they're going to use the same style of play. Now, we don't have Jake Ferguson spread out wide, but we're still going to run the triple slant. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a little PTSD as this play was running and what it was looking like. And what I mean is, if you guys remember in the playoff game, almost the exact looking formation here. This safety, who was a better player than this safety, pretty much was reading that this triple slant was coming. And a better player here hops in front of this and gets the pick. And that's exactly what happened in the playoff game. But we're going to get the triple slant. And Cooper Rush, one thing about Rush, and we've seen this throughout his starting tenure, is there's no reading of defenses. If it's predetermined, he's going there through hook or crook. It does not matter. And he pretty much said, I'm going to CeeDee Lamb on this slant. I don't give a damn what happens here. Well, fortunately, what happens here is that this defensive back is not Cam Chancellor. This defensive back is not a Ronnie Lott type. And this defensive back said, I'm not trying to get a FedEx check in the mail, or not a FedEx check, a FedEx in the mail where I have to deliver a check. Because this is what, ladies and gentlemen, we call a hospital ball. Okay? This is a ball that gets your wide receivers rocked, but not CeeDee Lamb. takes the hit, absorbs it, and it really wasn't that big of a hit. Like I said, if you go back and look and let it play, the DB just doesn't really lay the wood for real. He absorbs it, gets the first down. And this was the play where you saw CeeDee Lamb kind of like wincing and, because he's playing through that shoulder. But this was that triple slant type look that the Cowboys love to run, that they run a whole lot. And this one's a touchdown play. They're going to get an ID motion. ID motion, they're just trying to identify what the defense is in, and they create a bunch formation. Dallas didn't run a whole lot of bunch in this game, but with a whole bunch of off coverage, I guess they figured we'd just spread them out a little bit here. Doesn't really do anything in regards to the identification of the motion. And it's not anything really special here in regards to combinations of the routes. But what CD does do at the top of his route, I think it's enough to get him some separation to where you can get an easy window to get the ball in. He hesitates right there. That hesitation keeps this cornerback flat-footed. Again, if you even, we leaving now. He might not be even, but he's flat-footed right here. So essentially, he's trying to prepare for any type of break. Well, CeeDee Lamb doesn't really break. He continues upfield. And again, if you even, we leaving. You want this ball, honestly, the back pylon type, or you want this ball, if it's going to be a back shoulder, literally the back shoulder to the front pylon. Instead, we get a bit of a back ankle, and CeeDee Lamb makes what is an extremely difficult catch look easy because he's CeeDee Lamb, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, watching this in real time, I'm like, damn, incomplete. And he was open, right? Nope, they showed the replay. Lamb scoops that thing, and we get a tutty. Lamb was just fantastic in this game, man. You really, I know it's the Panthers or whatnot. But just looking at some of the catches that he had to make, absorbing some of these hits. There was another one that he got. I think they threw a flag on the play. All in all, second 100-yard game of the season, 9 receptions, $116 and a tutty. All in all, he really carried, I think, this offensive passing attack. From a run game, it was Rico Dowdle. From a pass game, it was CeeDee Lamb. Nobody else on the team, again, had more than one reception. No receiver, aside from Brandon Cooks, who had about 30 yards on the day. So Lamb really helped carry this and get things going with that early touchdown in this game. That's why he was my player of the game coming out of this. And I know we could have went Rico Dowdle in that situation, but that'd have been 3 weeks for Rico, and I think Lamb was deserving of it for me. AG, it was a back ankle throw, dog. What you want to do? Real quick, let's wrap to LA, who's on the horn. What's up with you, LA?
Brother Sky, man, what's good with it, fam?
How you doing, man?
Man, just wanted to bless the show, man. It's been a very disturbing, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, unfortunate happenstance of a year, and we keep on winning games as of late that we would not like to win, so to speak. But at least we are learning about some of the guys that we got, man. I just wanted to check in with you, man. I've been trying to get in with you and give you a little bit of a distraction from the crazy people that have been calling in. Some of the crazy people that's been calling in, trying to argue with you for no reason.
No. I welcome debate. I like debate. So I'm not foreign to that, and I ain't scared of the smoke. So I'm all right with that.
That's all good. Well, it's definitely been entertaining, man, and everything. So I'm happy to see that they are figuring out that they can give 23 to Rock if they get some kind of movement in the middle of the line. It would have been nice to have started the season off with trying to be more physical up front. Well, maybe they said they allegedly like we were, but who knows what the fuck happened? I don't know.
Well, I hate to be this guy. Shouts out to DMV in the building. Appreciate you, DMV. He's the resident running backs guy. I always tag a couple of our creators with certain things. Like when it comes to defense, I go to Koye, let me know. When it comes to O-line, D-line type play, hey, Vach, what's happening here? When it comes to like coach speak and just schematics and things like that, I like to go to Foots, right? In college and prospects. When it comes to running backs and run scheme, I like to go to DMV. Mm-hmm. And with DMV in the building right here, I said this earlier with Troy on the phone. I don't necessarily think anything has changed schematically up front. I think they're doing a lot of the same things. I just think this offensive line with non-injured Zach Martin in there. And then I hate to say this, your schedule lightened up a little bit, right? Like you started to play some teams.
That's fair,
That's just not right. Let's just be real. You started to play some teams that it favors you to do that. So the scheme doesn't necessarily play a huge factor when you're just better than the dudes over across from you. When you're not, I do think scheme matters a bit. And I thought you saw that earlier. And then also politics, LA, right? Like politics played a role in a lot of what happened in the run game too. So
what's his name? Like Hoffman in the interview, man, he was giving up so much like I should have already been on the field swag. He was giving off all kind of energy like, yeah, man, they should have been playing me so I could slap people up and talk crazy. I'm listening. I'm like, is Hoffman really? Is he a guy like that?
Hey,
I can't even if you was a guy like that, why wouldn't you want to feel?
Well, because you got a Hall of Famer in there. But Hoffman has definitely grown on a lot of the fans. I think, but see, the fighting aspect of Hoffman has always been why he was a fan favorite. And look, he was the leader in the clubhouse at center. Cooper Beebe beat him out. He beat him out.
Right.
So, and I don't think anybody's complaining about Cooper Beebe playing center. I think he's grown into the position to the point where you can feel comfortable about keeping Beebe there moving forward. But when you saw Zach Martin ailing and just not being good, consistently being the Zach Martin, you're like, man, they might want to make a move. And they finally made the move. And I think that's been a difference. I really do. I think when you look at Hoffman, he's been able to get to the second level a lot easier. He's been more quicker. He's been more athletic than Zach. And it's just been, I don't want to say night and day, but it's been an improvement. And that's just the facts of the matter.
Yeah, it's definitely been an improvement. And also, and just like how you had mentioned, it's not, he ain't played against some dudes that'll sit him in Rush's lap either. Like that little stretch that we opened up the season with, and the dude up in New York, and anyway, it's been a couple better D tackles that we played against.
I mean,
but,
he went up
saying all that to say,
Dexter, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just been good to see some of the young guys start to grow, man. I think the brightest spot that I might have to put my foot in the mouth on is Scooter Baker. Like they letting him talk in front of the team before the game, and maybe he is an NFL player. Maybe Scooter Baker is a guy. Maybe, perhaps. I've been hard on him.
Of course, he's an NFL player, man. It's never been about Scooter Baker's crazy, by the way. Schoolmaker being an NFL player. It's about allocating a second round pick to what's going to be a tight end 2 for the foreseeable future. That's the goofiness about it, right? Again, just like I said earlier, I can't be mad at Zeke because they signed him. I'm mad at them for signing him. I'm not mad at Schoolmaker. I'm mad at them for drafting him in the second round, but he's here now, and you got to figure out a way to get something out of him because the Cowboys haven't had a successful 2 tight end system, a 12 tight end system since Schultz has left, because you had Schultz and Ferg who put out a good 12 set, and then you even had a good 13 set. Since he left and Ferg was the guy, and Ferg was fantastic last year, the Cowboys haven't really had a really good 12 set. And if you can't utilize 12 personnel, you're handicapping yourself, because 12 personnel can be an advantage.
That's absolutely moronic. Yeah. I just need Schoonamaker to continue to turn into the Crimson Chin. He needs to be the Crimson Chin.
Madness. Yeah,
I have no clue if you know who the Crimson Chin is, but the Crimson Chin.
Well, yeah, Fairly Odd Parents, But listen, I just need him to continue to progress. Earlier in the year, he was getting out snapped by Brevin Spanford, and they asked Coach Shoddy why, and they said, "Man, to be completely honest with you, he's not focused enough. He's inconsistent. I just want to see him be more consistent on the practice field and his assignments in the film room." And he clearly took that and got coached up, and he responded when he got the opportunity, to go out there. So that's positive, and that's all you really want to do is just see him positively move forward, so that again, when everybody's whole and you get Dak back and you move forward to next year, you have a 12 personnel set that you feel comfortable into using. Because if they go into next year again and they're like one of the worst teams using 12, you're handicapping. I keep saying it, but you're going to handicap yourself.
And they can't be. Yeah. And honestly, bro, he's looked that much better to me, to where I really do got to put my foot in the mouth when it comes to him. Because I was like, man, I was just like, just truly believing like he's the guy that just wants to trip over his shoestrings, who's getting tackled by the yardage line. He gets tackled by the fucking hash marker or something. You got tackled by the end zone paint. You know, he was striking me as that kind of dude. So to see him actually use his body to, the right way, make him like he's looking like a guy. I'm like, all right, cool. Keep on doing on the trajectory. When we get 4 back next year, it looks like we'll finally be able to plan on an off season where the A gap is not going to be like the most pressing need that we got to get taken care of on O line, and we still got to take care of the A gap on defense.
Yes.
It's been our problem for the last 6-7 years.
Yes.
So there's that. But other than that, man, keep on rocking out, bro, man. I always want to call in, dude. And, I'm happy about all your followers, all your success, man. If you got any merch, I hope everybody buys the shit, man.
I always thought about that. I tried it at first, like before I even got the A to Z, when I was doing my own thing. And it's tough because you got to really be on that, and you got to be creative with it. But I might get back to doing it. We'll see.
Yeah, you might, like, even if you just give yourself like 30 minutes a week of just kind of fucking around with it. Like, why not? You already got everything else up there.
And being in Dallas, I've been to a lot of just different type of festival type things, and I'm down to do more of the in-person merch, right? Like I'll sell it in person as opposed to online, but I know online you got fans everywhere, so I get that. But those pop-up shops,
to keep it 100, man, you've actually got a legitimate brand in the largest sports fan base on the planet.
In Dallas, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like you can. It's at least 400 people out there that'll pay $40 for a Skywalker T-shirt. There's at least that many.
$40 for the tee is crazy, but for the hoodie there, I get it.
Yeah, but they would pay it for you. Like if it was, it might be 400,000 to get a $10 tee.
How about this? Oscar's hilarious. How about a do-rag Sky merch? So I got some do-rags.
No, but bro, like that's what the world needs, because people need Cowboys to tell them what to think anyway. Why not you just tell all the brothers where to get their do-rag from? Why not get it from Sky?
You're right. Hey, I gotta
and have everybody on the Sky Waves, man.
Don't Bow Wow got like a
Waves, man.
Don't Bow Wow got a do-rag company or something? I gotta reach out to Bow Wow's people. Hey, dog, get a Skywalker Steel do-rag sponsorship over here, man. Let's work. Do some work, man.
Nah, but you should though, man. Like and be the official urban style guru for the Cowboy Nation.
Hey, man, I appreciate the love, though, LA.
God bless you, brother.
Salute. I'm a hoodie guy. Somebody, Tom said I'd buy A to Z hoodie, like buy a Skywalker hoodie. I'm a hoodie guy. If I was to really lean into the merch thing, I'd probably just start off with a bunch of hoodies. And it's funny because I think I was at the barbershop and my man's does, it's crazy how the universe works, man. He sells merch like that. He does the fashion tip. He made like a Cowboys jacket. He has his own situation going on. And I was just listening to him talk. I'm like, man, if I ever got back into it, I'd probably reach out to him. So, universe works in an interesting way. Appreciate the call though, LA. Do-rag models. Dre says, Scotty, you need do-rag models. Hey, if I really do like a do-rag merch site, which hell of an idea, Oscar. Hell of an idea. Yeah, sure. Why not? You know what I mean? I'll give some out to the fans. You know what I mean? Take a picture of it, shoot it back to me, we'll put it up. We'll treat it like the old school barbershop poster. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you go to the bar, I don't even know if they do that anymore, but if you go to the barbershop, they got the barbershop picture up there with the numbers, the side profile, front profile. It's been a while since I saw like the old school one, but I'll treat it like that. Lake said, yep, Skyface on the hood do-rags will be hilarious, dog. I'm telling you, that'd be crazy. I don't know if I put my face on there. I have like a dope logo or something. Because I ain't walking around with another man's face on my do-rag. I ain't doing that. I know y'all ain't trying to walk around with somebody's face on your Dewey. You know what I mean? But a dope logo or something, yeah, I think that could work. Maybe when the part where you tie it, right? Where you widen it out. Like CeeDee, hold on, check this out.
I always had that mentality.
So you
and
see
obviously,
that part?
offensively, the guys are
CeeDee,
looking
we
for
know
me
about
as
your
a spark.
mentality, CeeDee.
So
Let me mute you real quick,
with that,
CeeDee.
I'm going to continue to.
So you see the part right there for those who wear do-rags. You can either tie it and you don't spread that out, or you can spread that out. Maybe a logo right there. See, this is a topic for another day, because y'all got me I got my wheels spinning right now. Got my wheels spinning. So no forehead lines. That's why you gotta widen it, because the forehead lines be crazy. I remember as a buck, story time. Again, you only understand this if you wear a do-rag like as much as I wear a do-rag. That line, brother, like when you was a buck and you ain't really, and you put that, and it was tight and you had that line, did any of y'all do some ridiculous things to try to get rid of that line? Anybody? I've been down that line, pun intended. Boy, wake up with that dent in your head and you just like, God damn. I can't have this dent going to school looking like a speed bump. Nah, man. I've done some things to try to get that line up out of there. Yeah. Toxic said you get canceled if you wear a do-rag. Toxic, I believe that up to you, man. I ain't judging. Hey, y'all fun. Y'all been fun today. Let me see if there's any supers I missed. Elijah said, so you know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hallelujah said he still get that line. I don't get it as much because I've learned how to use it, but there's times when I'm just lazy and I don't feel like widening I just be like, man, tie it up, and yeah, you wake up with that line on, man. I've done it here. I've done it here. I've come on where I can see the line. I don't know if y'all can notice it, but I can see it. Did I get any supers today? We are good. I did see somebody earlier in the chat was a member. Appreciate you for still rocking the membership. Patrick Nosey Walker with a Sky Do-Rag model. So for those who have locks, like y'all don't wear do-rags, do you? Don't y'all wear like bonnets and stuff like that? Like, no, I mean, if that's not what it's called, my apologies. I know the women wear bonnets, but isn't that what you guys wear? I don't think y'all might wear doogies. I don't know. I figured with the locks, it's tough to get all up under there though. Hey, Carol, now you going mad old school with the stocking caps. Jeremy Phillips bandana. I used to wear Cowboys bandana, but yeah, bandana would be good too. Makeup, come on, dog. You're doing a bit much. Let me tell you what I did. I used to put a paper towel when I was a buck at the line. Makeup, I don't even talk about, man. I used to put a paper towel under the do-rag so I don't get that line when I was a buck, man. Oh, goddamn makeup. What are we doing here? Skull cap. I did whatever, man. One more. For those who used to wear whites, forces, ones, whatever you call them, where you from. Be honest. Did you ever do anything crazy to not get the creases? You ain't got a lot of me. You in a safe space. You in a safe space. Too grown now to be doing all that nonsense, but I know, and I seen this kid today, and Jesse, not today, I'm sorry, this season. Me and Jesse, we had a laugh about this. There was a family of like 20 out at Canvas and Sports and Social come through this Sunday night. And a buck came through with the ones, right? And we watching him kind of waddle like the penguin. And we like, why is he waddle like? I look down. He's trying not to crease his ones. Dre walks in. So he's waddling. And we're like, dog, come on, man. What are we doing? But I can't judge because as a buck, I ain't do the waddle now because you look ridiculous. But you did certain things, right? Let me tell you a secret that I did. I used to take the little cardboard piece, right, that fits underneath the shoes that you got to take out. I would cut that and I'd keep that at the top. I thought that was a pretty deal. Now they make things to do that. But my man was not and looking like a duck. And we was just having a good laugh about it, man. But don't act like y'all ain't used to do that with the ones. Y'all used to do it. Yeah, I used to do it. Well, that went off the rails. Appreciate y'all for sticking around. We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna get into this Buccaneers game. Bucks look good, man. Bucks look good. There was a topic this morning. By the way, you know, and again, I don't watch a lot of the big networks, but in the morning I turn on and there's the Canty show, right? The Evan Canty and the lady. And they were having this conversation, and the guy was talking about, hey man, trade Mike, Dak, CD. If they did all that, the Cowboys would be in a better spot. And I'm just like, whoa. My guy, Evan, you probably don't want to talk about the Cowboys because you have no idea what's happening here. But that just goes to show you they don't really understand the inner workings of the Dallas Cowboys. But anyway, on that show, they asked a question, could the Bucs be a Super Bowl contender? Are they a sneaky Super Bowl contender? And they are. Not necessarily to win it, but they can push the NFC, man. They're likely going to get into the dance. I think they're sneaky. Let's not forget they pushed the Lions last year in the playoffs to the brink of almost going to the NFC Championship. Before that, they beat the Eagles. This year, they beat the Lions and they beat the Eagles. Just saying. Sneaky team that is the Bucs. So we're going to take a look at them tomorrow. I'm going to look at their offense. Baker Mayfield's playing some good ball. Mike Evans has returned. They got a good passing attack. They run a true running back by committee, so it'll be fun taking a look at them. And I love when I get a chance to break down these teams, and we're going up against one of my pet cats, man. Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator, is one of my pet cats. He is coordinated himself into head coaching candidacy this offseason. So we're going to take a look at Liam Cohen as well. It'll be fun. With that said, press this button, man.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Well, I sure hope he does, Mark. Does he use starch, though? That's the real. Does he put the creases in it, Mark? We out here. Lay y'all. Peace. Your boy was wild and putting filler on the to hide the do-rag line. It's never that serious. It's gonna go away. I done told your boy, I promise you it's gonna go away. Appreciate that, Captain America. Oh, Mark, you don't iron? You know, I wonder if that's the other skin folk thing. Is that a white people thing? Y'all don't iron? Oh, we're gonna talk about this tomorrow.